At my wedding, the best man laughed and said he didn't just marry one sister. And that's when my revenge began. I was standing in the middle of the ballroom, veil pinned perfect, lips hurting from smiling. The kind of smile every bride thinks she'll remember forever. The room glowed like a movie scene. Warm lights, crystal chandeliers, soft jazz drifting over laughter. And then Evan's best man, Cal, stood up. He didn't look nervous. He looked excited. He tapped his glass, grinning, and said, "Tonight, we celebrate Evan, a man so talented he managed to keep both Reed sisters entertained." At first, people laughed. A couple of drunk guests clapped like it was the funniest thing in the world. But then the words landed. The laughter collapsed into this ugly, choking silence. My fingers tightened around the stem of my champagne glass. Evan's arm, my husband's arm, went stiff at my waist. And my sister Mina, in her emerald bridesmaid dress, didn't gasp, didn't deny, didn't even look shocked. She looked down and smiled like she'd been waiting for this moment. That tiny smile told me the truth without a single word. People tried to pretend they didn't hear it. A fork hit the plate too loudly. Someone cleared their throat. My mother's face drained white. Cal chuckled. "Relax, it's a joke." But jokes don't make your new husband's face go pale. I turned to Evan, searching his eyes for rage, denial, anything. He forced a laugh. A pathetic, shaky laugh. And then he raised his glass to Cal. Like the joke was just brotherly humor. Like my humiliation was entertainment. That's when I understood something cold. They didn't slip up. They wanted me to know. They wanted me to sit there, dressed in white, and swallow it. I didn't cry. I didn't run. I could have screamed. I could have thrown the glass. I could have walked out and let the whole wedding burn behind me. But I didn't. I lifted the champagne to my lips and swallowed. The drink was cold, bitter. And as the music restarted, like nothing happened, I smiled. Not because I forgave them, because I decided. If they turned my wedding into a joke, I would turn their lives into a warning. 6 months earlier, I would have told you my life was finally stable. I was 32, living in Chicago, working as a project lead for a healthcare tech company. My apartment overlooked the river. I had routines, peace, control. And then there was Evan. Everyone loved him. He wasn't just charming, he was calculated charming. He made people feel chosen. My parents adored him because he knew how to speak to fathers. My friends approved because he knew how to listen. And my sister Mina. She laughed too hard at his jokes. But Mina always did that. Mina had always wanted what I had, not because she needed it, because she hated me having it. Still, I believed blood meant loyalty. That was my first mistake. There were cracks. Small enough to excuse. Evan coming home with work cologne that wasn't mine. Mina showing up unannounced when Evan was around. The way Evan's eyes followed her when he thought I wasn't looking. And once, 2 months before the wedding, I heard Evan on a call in the kitchen. Low voice. Soft laugh. He said, "She has no idea. You're good at this." When I asked who he was talking to, he kissed my forehead and said, "Just work." And I chose peace over truth. That was my second mistake. The next morning in the hotel suite, Evan slept like a man without guilt. I stood in the bathroom, mascara smudged, looking at my reflection. You will not get away with this. But I didn't leave. Not yet. Leaving would make me the tragedy. Staying would make me the author. I became the perfect wife. I cooked, smiled, went to family dinners, and I watched. Evan got careless. He left his laptop open. He took calls in the next room. He trusted the image of me he created, weak, polite, forgiving. Mina got arrogant. New shoes, new bags, weekend trips. She started posting stories like she was winning. So I started collecting. Not chaos. Evidence. Evan wasn't just cheating. He was dirty. He had access to client accounts through investment consulting on the side. I found emails, invoices, transfers. At first, I thought it was just shady business. Then I saw Mina's name. Not in his love messages, in his financial trails. He wasn't just sleeping with her. He was using her accounts to move money. And she wasn't innocent. She knew. She liked it. The stage. My father's retirement dinner. I chose my moment carefully. A big event. Family, friends, Evan's clients. A room full of people who respected him. A room full of people who needed to know who he really was. When dessert arrived, I stood up with a smile. Everyone expected a toast. And I gave them one. To loyalty. The room clapped politely. Then I plugged my drive into the venue's projector. The first slide was a screenshot of Evan's message. I wish it was you in the dress. Then another. And another. Then the transfers. Then the invoices. Then Mina's texts. Send it to my account. She won't notice. The room didn't just go silent. It went cold. Evan stood up so fast his chair scraped the floor. Shut that off. Mina tried to laugh like it was fake, but her hands were trembling. And my father looked at her like she was a stranger. Evan stumbled toward me, desperate, and I leaned in and whispered, "You didn't just betray me." I held up one last folder. You committed fraud with witnesses. Because the night before, I had already delivered copies to his employer, his biggest clients, and an attorney. So what played in that ballroom wasn't just revenge. It was the public start of his collapse. Evan lost everything. His side business, his reputation, his friends. Mina lost what she loved most, her image. Because people don't forgive the sister who smiles at betrayal. And me? I didn't walk away screaming. I walked away calm. Because the most terrifying revenge is the kind that doesn't look like revenge. It looks like justice. And the best part? The best man who made the joke was the first person to call me the next morning, begging me to delete the evidence. I smiled and said, "I didn't ruin you. You just finally met consequences."